What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back to episode 7 of 5 Questions with Levi, The Return. Yes, it's a day late. I almost completely forgot about this week's episode until I was reminded last night on a Twitch stream that, hey, did you forget to do the new episode? And I'm like, ah, crap, I did completely forget. So, just a little reminder, in case I forget to do them on Thursdays, Fridays would be the makeup day, so to speak, to do the episodes. Still a weekly show, I just forgot to do the stuff yesterday, so you're getting it on a Friday, a little Friday special of 5 Questions with Levi, and we got some good questions. And as a reminder, if you want to ask me a question for next week's episode, leave 1 question per user in the comment section below, and the first 5 I see will be the ones answered on next week's episode. But without further ado, let's get to the questions, shall we? Question number 1 comes from BlazeLife334 asking, what are some of your favorite Drake and Josh episodes? Well, it's hard for me to remember certain episodes off the top of my head because it's been a long time since I've watched Drake and Josh. Even though I got Paramount Plus, I haven't been watching it on there yet. But if I had to go for some episodes that were really good off the top of my head, I really liked the really big shrimp 1 hour special they did where Drake had his song played for a commercial. And that was the same episode with the infamous quote from Crazy Steve, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, the cow says moo, you ate my enchilada." Because I love Jerry Trainer, he's a funny fucking dude. He's kind of like the younger version of Jim Carrey, honestly. But like other episodes that I really liked the episode where they had to haul the wedding cake in the back of a crappy car that breaks down on the road heading to the wedding, and they try and do everything they can to get it going. It catches on fire, and they're like, screw this, let's just get out of here. I forget the name of that episode. Other episodes, I like the bet episode where they try to bet each other that Drake can't eat junk food while Josh can't play video games. Otherwise, they must dye their hair pink. And I love the ending where Drake fooled everybody into thinking that, oh, he dyed his hair pink, it was just a wig. Idiots. So, there you go. So those, off the top of my head, would be some of my personal favorite Drake and Josh episodes. I'm sure there are plenty of others that I'm forgetting that I've completely forgotten about over the years. Oh, another good one, the episode where they decide to run a hotel in their house for spring break. So that was a pretty good one. The Monoxa Puff Gas and all this crap. That was a great one too. So those would be some off the top of my head that I can remember being some of my favorites. Question number 2 comes from Space Metal Ferrari 248, who asks, which Guitar Hero game do you think had the best set list? Well, I got that game right here. I don't have the system to play it on right now, but Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. I mean, and also, in my opinion, as far as gameplay, probably the best Guitar Hero game out there, but also like the set list. I mean, you have Welcome to the Jungle, Raining Blood, 1, Sunshine of Your Love, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Cult of Personality, Suck My Kiss, Painted Black, Black Sunshine, Bulls on Parade, Slow Ride, Rock and Roll All Night. Good diverse list of songs to play, and even the DLCs that you got on this, like the entire Metallica Death Magnetic album. Also, of course, Through the Fire and Flames, My Curse. So many other great ones. So if I had to go with a definitive Guitar Hero game with the best set list, it would be this one. But if you were to ask me best overall gameplay, it would be this. I mean, Guitar Hero Metallica has a great set list. Hell, even the last one, Warriors of Rock, had a great set list too. You know, that would be my opinion right there. I feel Legends of Rock was the best set list by a hair over Metallica. Question number 3 comes from Red Racer 1985. In your opinion, what was the all-time stupidest storyline you've ever heard or seen in wrestling? Oh boy, how much time do I have here? Oh, I'm gonna mention 2 of them. One I did an infamous rant on at the end of 2019. Another one from, can you believe it's been almost 20 years since the other one I'm going to be talking about later happened. Wiping off something off the thing here. But the for the recent one, the fucking Rusev, Lana, Bobby Lashley cuckold angle, that was so... Oh, it dragged on for so fucking long, and it made Rusev look like a total tool. Well, no, not tool. Made him look like a total weakened douchebag. You know, because it's like... And also, who would buy into a storyline where Lana's dating Bobby Lashley when we know that she's married to Rusev in real life? Or, I'm sorry, Miro. But, and also, who would buy into Bobby Lashley playing homewrecker to a couple? He's a fucking army guy. He's a proud American. Why would anyone buy into something like that from him? It was a waste of Lashley, an absolute waste of Rusev's final days in the company, and it was a huge use of Lana's time, which... Oh, Lana, you used to be hot, now you're ugly as balls, and you are annoying, I can't stand to see you on my TV, and it's not even, like, good heel heat, it's go-away heat. Like, I don't ever want to see Lana in the company ever again, but she's gonna be there, because Vince has a thing for blondes. Ugh. And now people are probably gonna be like, tell us how you really feel. But if there's one that's worse than that, in my opinion... the dumbest storyline in the history of wrestling, the fucking Katie Vick angle from 2002. In case nobody knows what I'm talking about, you've been living under a rock for 19 years, but I'll go ahead and explain it. So it was October 2002, on Raw. Triple H, the World Heavyweight Champion, is about ready to face Kane at No Mercy, and Kane was the Intercontinental Champion, and the Intercontinental Champion had been turned into a mega secondary championship as it was unified with the European and Hardcore titles a couple months prior. So Kane was the only other singles champion on Raw besides Triple H with the World Heavyweight Championship. So originally, it was going to be Triple H versus Kane, champion versus champion, title for title, winner take all, winner would get both belts, and the winner would be the only champion on Raw. Of course, the only reason why they did this to unify the Intercontinental World titles was so that way they could get new logos put on the Intercontinental title a few months later. But it did ultimately kill the Intercontinental Championship. But that's not the reason why this angle was stupid. When the Katie Vick stuff got added in, so right after Kane wins a tag title TLC match by himself because his partner, the Hurricane, was injured heading into the match, Triple H comes out and says, "You are a murderer." So they do a whole retcon of Kane's backstory where they reveal that 10 years before, Kane had a girlfriend named Katie Vick, both went out to a party one night, both were drunk, there was a car accident in which Katie Vick died, and Kane fucked the corpse. And then the infamous funeral scene with Triple H wearing a Kane mask in a funeral home, going to a casket, fucks a dummy in a casket, with the infamous quote, "I screwed your brains out." And you want to know the worst part about that segment? While they were filming it, there was an actual funeral happening in the next room over. And it got so bad to the point that someone from that other room walked in and saw what was going on and went, "Shh. There was an actual funeral happening in the next room while they filmed this." Oh my god, and this whole thing ruined the match they had at No Mercy. Despite the match at No Mercy being a really good match, it did not matter because this angle ruined everything. It was so bad. Why couldn't we just had champion versus champion, title for title, winner take all, like bragging rights? It would have been totally appropriate for this feud, and it ruined this really good match. Like, the match was really good, but it did not matter because the story ruined everything about it. Anyways, now that I've got some sanity back to the questions with question number 4 from Mr. Death Metal. Oh, long-time subscriber and viewer of the channel. Welcome back. I hope to see you more often on here. He asks me, which Iron Maiden album from the Blaze Bayley era was my favorite? Well, to be honest with you, I've never really listened to very much of the Blaze Bayley stuff, mostly because a lot of people tend to cast them aside because they're not like the Deano or Dickinson albums. But if I had to choose one, it's an album I've never listened to in full. Like, I've heard bits and pieces of it and, like, snitbits. But, like, The X Factor, I hear, is a highly underrated album. Whereas Virtual 11, a lot of people, myself included, would probably consider that album the worst in Maiden's discography. I know my buddy Artur says differently, but I think Final Frontier is a really good album. Virtual 11 had some good songs, but much of the album was not the best. Whereas X Factor, from what I gather, it's a really good album. It just gets cast aside because it's not Bruce Dickinson singing. And it was in the mid-90s where metal was supposedly on its last legs, which is totally false. But yeah, while I've not listened to both albums in full, I can safely say out of the two that I would rather listen to, it would be X Factor. Finally, question number 5 from Dimebag Daryl, who asks, who is more over, Stone Cold, The Rock, or Undertaker? Oh, that's a good one, because all three guys during the Attitude Era were over in their own right. You know, Undertaker with being basically the backbone of the company during that period. The Rock for his microphone ability and quick, witty one-liners. Stone Cold over for his character, mic skills, and in-ring prowess, even though much of the Attitude Era he spent as a brawler because of his neck. He couldn't quite go technical like he used to. But if I had to choose who I personally felt was more over out of the three of them, it was Stone Cold, because when you have arguably the biggest pop in the history of the business, Stone Cold on the January 4th, 1999 episode of Raw, you're more over than anything. You know, wrestlers of today can wish that they could be as over as Stone Cold was back in the Attitude Era. They can only wish that. The closest anybody has come to getting as over as Stone Cold is Daniel Bryan, and he was pretty damn over in like from 2012 through to now. Like, he was super over. Even as a heel in 2019, he was over as a heel and was getting good heat. But as a babyface, super over, especially 2013 and 2014. But yeah, out of the three of Austin, Rock, and Taker, I'd have to say Austin, just for the mere fact that he got the biggest pops in the history of the business. I mean, there have been some other great pops, like Jericho's debut in '99 was a massive pop. Brock's return in 2012 was a massive pop. The Rock's return in 2011 was a massive pop. But when you have the biggest pop of all time on January 4th, 1999, when Austin showed up to help Mankind beat The Rock, then nobody's more over than you are. And that does it for this episode of 5 Questions with Levi, The Return. Episode 8 coming out next week. Hope I can remember to do it on time. If not, it'd be on Friday. But yeah, as I said before, ask a question in the comments section below, and the first 5 I see will be answered on next week's episode. But until then, horns high. See you soon.
What the heck is fellatio?
Cole, out of all the people in here, you should know what that is.
Every time I'm soft, yeah. To try to gap a shine.
Is it a new way to torture people?
A little too friendly.
No. Well, it depends on how you look at it.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
Oh boy.
Are you looking at the whole thing or just the fellatio part?
Oh wait, so fellatio is stimulation of the penis? Really?
Thanks for letting me know that. I might pick that card now.
Call. It's another name for a blowjob.
Okay. Every time I
thought it was a dick
It's a
punishment.
deep throat blowjob.
Alright, here we go.
Moving on.
Sounds like Carson's getting one right now.
God damn.